We are back with this Fox News alert. The scandal of the IRS targeting Tea Party and conservative groups is front and center again today on Capitol Hill. President Obama's pick to take over as IRS commissioner faces a grueling confirmation hearing today. Critics say the administration is trying to put a new spin on what happened there. Chief political correspondent Carl Cameron is live in Washington with more on this for us. So what do we expect today, Carl?
Hi, Martha. Well, the hearing just got started, and then they took a brief break. The weather's kind of lousy here, and they're kind of trying to make sure that everybody can get in to watch this. The man's name is John Koskinen. He is the president's nominee to be the IRS commissioner, and he is already facing some pretty tough questions about the agency's admitted misconduct in targeting all these conservative groups that sought tax-exempt status prior to the 2012 elections and found their applications denied and in some cases delayed in what was admitted wrongdoing by the IRS. We can expect senators to demand a whole series of commitments from Mr. Koskinen to run the IRS more fairly than recent history. There's going to be some fireworks as this unfolds. There are a whole bunch of other issues, including that the IRS is actually working on rules to limit the political activity of these groups with tax-exempt status. It's very, very controversial since a lot of groups like that have popped up in the last few years on both sides of the political spectrum, and they're enjoying all the money, the access, and the ability to participate. They don't want to be muzzled. Some argue it's free speech and spending shouldn't be touched. Others say it's not up to the IRS to make these judgments. It's up to Congress to write the rules and maybe the federal election to enforce them. So the IRS ought to just get out of trying to deal with political ideology when it comes to dealing with groups that need tax-exempt status to do good works and can presumably keep their politics somewhat fair.
Interesting. So what about Obamacare? That factors in here as well, does it not?
Oh, of course it does.
Yeah.
There's a huge role for the IRS in this. They're going to track who signs up and who doesn't, and anybody who doesn't sign up for Obamacare and doesn't have got insurance is subject to a fine. They're going to have to deal with that. They'll also have to deal with the subsidies for people who go to the exchanges and need a particularly government-subsidized type of health care program. After all, Obamacare, Affordable Care Act, is going to deal with a sixth of our economy, so it's got to get involved. Koskinen's replacing an acting commissioner who actually took this office. His name is Danny Werfel. Back the day that the IRS's Inspector General report came out. They called it misconduct. It was a scathing report. Back then, the president said that he, too, was outraged and that American people had justification in their fury. But in the last couple of days, particularly in an interview he did over the weekend, Mr. Obama suggested that some of this might have been overplayed and that it's too bad when mistakes are made and it gets sort of seized on by the media, which contradicts him and contradicts what folks are saying on the Hill today.
Yep, he said he wanted to get to the bottom of it.
Right.
So we'll see what happens today. Carl, thank you very much.
You bet.
Good to see you.